So for today, right, we are actually going to scape the Red Sea Reefer Nano. Okay, so before I actually show you guys the rocks that I'm actually using for the Red Sea Nano, right? So I'll show you the tank first and what I've done in the tank. So I've actually filled the entire tank up with water already. So this is actually salt water. So I didn't really use RODI for it yet because this is more like a cycling phase. So I actually just tap water this and then I just added salt into the tank. So I actually got it running for about a week plus, if I'm not wrong. And then I added in the sand as well. So our beloved sponsors actually got us the Carib Sea. If I'm not wrong, this is the Bahamas pink or the Bahimi pink. I can't remember what's the name, but then I still have. Oh, sorry, it's Fiji pink. Okay, yeah. So I've actually gotten this Fiji pink. So I wanted a bit more coarse sand for this tank build because, as you guys know, right, nano tanks, they are very small. So if you use very fine sand like it's the Bahamas OLED that I use for the COVID tank build, right? Very fine sand like your C1 and all, right, tends to blow very often in a smaller tank because your wave maker distance is shorter. Everything is actually smaller, so you actually get a lot of turbulence here and there. So to try to maintain a more crystal clear tank, right, I started going with a larger grain size, which is the Fiji pink. So I got the sand in first because your Carib Sea live sand actually have all the good bacteria into it. So I wanted to just let the bacteria cycle the tank for me. And then inside, right, we actually did run the pump as well. So the pump itself is running. So it's actually pretty simple setup though. One thing I already see, right, once the plumbing is so easy to work with, everything is like just push fitted and then screw on type. And with the threaded bulb and everything, right, it's very easy to actually install things in and actually remove things compared to like if you do a custom tank, right. Whenever you do an installation and when you want to remove things, right, it's so difficult because you either glue it down or you silicone it down, and then whenever you want to tear down a tank, right, you always either need to break it, cut it, or you may even damage the bottom of the tank. Well, compared to this tank, right, I believe that if one day I want to move this tank somewhere else, right, I can actually drain the tank and then I can actually separate the tank and the sump separately. So that's one thing that I actually like about this all-in-one system. Is actually they thought through the whole plumbing, everything. But yeah, I think it's quite a good thing about it. Then the pump itself, I actually really haven't tried the Wi-Fi function yet. I haven't even downloaded the app though, so I have really no idea what's going on. But now I'm still setting it in on the normal controller mode, where I just set the amount of water that I want that's coming back up to the tank. And basically that's it, because that is mainly what I felt a pump should just do. Like, to pump water and then to be able to put it in feed mode. That's the only two things that I think that a pump will need. So, but for today, right, we are actually not going to talk much about the tank, but then I'm actually going to show you a bit more on the rocks that we got here. So this tank and this tank, right, we actually run the Carib Sea shapes, which is the very purplish kind of rocks, which I kind of really like those rocks a lot because it's very natural. It gives you the very natural, the coralline, purple, algae kind of look to it. It looks really real reef on day one. I'm never really a fan of white rocks like your Bucani last time. But then our dear sponsors, right, Rich Bucket SG actually told me that why not to try something else compared to the normal Carib Sea rocks that I always wanted to use. So for those of you guys who have been hearing this brand out there very often, right, which is Macro Rocks. So Macro Rocks is actually a rocks that is actually done up in Florida. So they actually got in really nice white rocks, which I believe a lot of other YouTubers actually been talking about it as well. And then there's a lot of reviews going on here and there on the Macro Rocks. But then Two Little Fishies, which is another brand by Julian Sprung, right, they actually did use the Macro Rock to make into the product that I have here, which is called Stax. So Stax rocks, right, they are actually made by Macro. So the foundation itself is actually Macro rocks, but then what they did was they actually precisely cut each rock to very, very nice slabs, which you can actually do like just stack them on to each other, which that's why the name of the box itself is called Stax. So I actually did open up this box because it's also my first time seeing it. At first I was a little bit skeptical because I am the kind of person that I like things to be very natural, which by cutting it rocks up and then stacking on top of each other, right, it's kind of a very, very unnatural way of scaping. It's more like a very flat rock, it's a very flat consistency throughout the whole tank, which makes it to, for a reefer, right, to always put fracks on it, which you have a tank where you have like slabs and slabs and slabs of table rocks, and then you have like frac plugs, which it doesn't really look very natural to me. Well, there's a lot of different types of reefers. Some reefers like the kind of look, some reefers like the very mature, like a piece of the ocean kind of scape, which I'm the kind of person that prefers the natural ocean kind of scape, which is why I'm actually really a little skeptical about it. But then when I open a box up, right, and I actually take a look at it, right, there's actually a lot more things you can actually do with this, which it's kind of actually, the price tag wise actually is quite worth it though. These guys are like, if I'm not wrong, they're cheaper than a box of the Carib Sea rocks, and they actually do have quite a lot in a box, which I will show it to you right now. So they have like a couple of really good foundation pieces over here. So these are like the larger slabs. So you can see, right, they are actually really nicely cut on both ends. So you can actually just put them down like your base foundation rocks, right? And then they have like smaller rocks that you can actually stack right on top. And then like if let's say you get another piece, right? Like this is a larger piece, I can actually put it somewhere like this, and then I grab a smaller one, right? It actually gives you this really nice leveling to it. So you can actually like put like the lower lighting corals here and then like the higher lighting corals here. So with all this, right, you can actually do like a lot of different types of scaping to it. You can actually build how high you want to stack your rocks up, and then you can even do like this rocks is really good if you are actually doing bonsai scaping. So if you want to do bonsai, right, this is actually a very good rocks because you can actually do like a small little tower, and then it platform up, and then you can do another tower platform up. So you can actually do like really good bonsai art with this. So which really made me into a huge dilemma here where I don't really know what I want to do with these rocks. Should I make it into a bonsai scape, which I believe is what is pretty popular right now, which is a very minimalistic look where the rock works is very minimal, but then the look of the bonsai full SPS kind of feeling. This is easy achieved with these rocks. Or I'm actually planning to do like a reef wall, because with the rocks being so flat, right, you can actually do like a very nice reef wall kind of feeling where it's just a high wall from big plating rocks all the way to smaller rocks, right? So it actually gives the depth of like you are descending down a reef wall, that kind of concept. So I'm actually thinking to either go for a full reef wall, which reef walls tend to be very popular like 10 years ago, where you see most of the older aquariums, right, older reefers, right, most of their tanks actually reef wall. But then as time goes by, a lot of people say that reef wall is not good because it lacks flow, there's detritus that is always being trapped behind, you cannot actually get access to the bag. There's a lot of very bad negative comments about reef wall, which if with rocks like this, right, you can actually relieve the reef wall, the old school kind of aquascape. So this is actually a pretty interesting rock, and I'm not really a fan of white rocks because they look very unnatural in tanks. One thing, because once they get to mature up, right, if you get algae onto this or you get your diatom bloom, right, it's actually pretty ugly because you get these very obvious brown stains onto it. But if you can actually do a very clean tank, right, with nice white rocks and white sand, right, it's going to pop, especially for the first few days. But once these things get mature, right, you have to make sure that you have done it correctly. But Mako rocks, they're really light, they are really porous. You can actually see there's a lot of holes into it. So I believe beneficial bacteria, right, will really love such rocks because they are really, really porous and you can actually get a lot of good bacteria growing onto them. So the box is pretty worth it though because they are being stacked so thinly, right? For a box this size, right, there's actually way too much rocks in one box for a tank this size. So I I do predict that I'll have a lot of spares inside here which I can use it for another tank, which it's kind of actually quite good for the value because if let's say you are doing a new tank build, right, you buy one box of this and you can actually get quite a lot out of this box because you can actually do quite a lot with it. So they have big pieces all the way to smaller pieces at the bottom. So you can actually do it either way you want it to build a tower, bonsai, or can even do like just plates here and there, which I really no idea what to do yet. But then we move over here, right? I'm thinking to either just fill the back up with like a reef wall kind of scape, and then like a lot of hangovers, a lot of little caves here and there with this scaping, just to make it a bit more going through going there. So that is where I'm actually heading to, which is I'm more drawn towards the reef wall kind of scaping because um, we've seen a lot of scapes here in the studio, and then we have not actually seen a old school reef wall yet, which this is one scape that I've really never shown you guys. So this is one thing that I really want to show you guys is the reef wall. So by hearing me saying all these things, right, you guys can make a guess what is the theme for this tank already. Whether it's an anemone cube, whether it's a non-photosynthetic or a macro algae. So I'm going to do a little contest for you guys right now. So with the scaping that I just mentioned, right, which is the reef wall scaping, right, the first person that comment down below, right, with the right answer on which team that I'm going for, right, I'll give you a little small surprise on the upcoming video once I review what is in there. But then today, right, I'm just going to review this rock. I'm going to start to scape this tank, which I'm not going to show you guys the entire process because I think that I will change here and there. There's a lot of changes here and there, and I don't think I will need to use epoxy or anything with this rock because it's so flat. What I'm actually thinking to do is just using coral glue. So our sponsors actually did get us their own coral glue brand as well. This is actually by One Reef. So it's also by Reef Market SG, which is the aquatic coral glue, which I kind of like it a lot. I'm actually using this very often right now compared to the BSI, which is kind of really nice. So what I'm actually thinking is that I'll probably just use this and this. So I'll probably just glue it on and just stack the next rock, glue it on, stack the next rock. But then that should be how am I going to scape the tank for then on. So I'll get back to you guys once I'm done with the whole thing. Right? Once the scape is in and I finalize the scape, right, I will show you guys from then after that. Okay, so it's been about a couple of days after we actually unboxed the rocks, etc, right. So we've put the scape on behind me. So without further ado, right, let's take a good look at the scape right now. Okay, so we have actually done up this scape with the Stax rocks. So this is how the entire tank looks like right now. So what I actually did was they actually do have like a couple of very large slabs, right, and then they have a lot of smaller pieces. So this whole scape itself is actually done without any epoxy. So basically all I use is coral glue for this scape. So if you guys see from the top view, right, this is how it looks like, which I kind of like it when you stand up and then look at the tank now, because the Red Sea Nano is not, say, really tall. So usually when you stand up, right, this is what you guys usually see compared to when you actually go in this angle here. So from what I do, right, my view is somehow like this whenever I come home. So I kind of really like these rocks a lot because look at how nice all this platform goes. Like, come, let's take a closer look at them. So you can actually see that all this, right, is actually individual different rocks that is being stacked together. So this is why the name of the rocks is called stacks. So like you can have like one rock here and then a little small one inside, then it's like just one tier, two tier, three tier, four tier, and then like a couple of really nice platforms down here and there. So it's really nice. It gives, okay, it's not really very, I would not say it's very natural because one thing I don't like, right, is I don't like all these seams in between. Like it felt very stacks, but then ironically the the rocks are called stacks, but then I'll probably do something about all these little crevices here. If let's say coral grows on it and then like maybe coralline algae or something cover it, right, it might look a little bit better. But overall, I'm really liking this scape right now. There's like crevices here and there, there's like swim throughs here, there, couple of places, like there's one behind here, then there's couple of them at the back, and then another two more here. So basically it gives quite a lot of swim throughs for all of my fishes. And then the carib sea sand as one of these. This is the Fiji pink. And yeah, so I've placed in two of my cycling fish. So these both are actually my daughter's clownfish. They are called no, I forget what they called. They are called if I'm not wrong, one of them is Nini and then the other one is Jia Jia. I know it's from a kids YouTube channel. I don't know, is it Coco Melon or is it the other one? So yeah, so she named the characters of the two pandas. If you guys are parents, right? If you guys have ever seen that video, Meow Meow and something, yeah, that video. So she actually named the both clownfish that, which I cannot really remember. I've never really watched her videos with her. So yeah, so these are like my cycling fish. I usually put them in to test the water first before any other thing goes. So overall, yeah, that's how the tank looks like. So with this scape, right, make a guess what will be this tank, what will be the theming for this tank, whether is it an anemone tank, whether it's an NPS tank, or whether it's going to be a macro algae tank. So the first person in the comment below that actually got it correct, right, I have a little special surprise for you. But then overall, I would say that really big thanks to Reef Market SG for supplying us with these stack rocks. There's actually a lot excess that I will use it for another tank in the future. But then for a nano tank like this size, right, it's going to be a species only tank. And then it's just going to be filled. But then the clownfish may or may not be here. This is just like my cycling fish. I may move them back to the main tank. So don't just assume that you see clownfish, you will confirm that it's going to be a clownfish anemone tank. So overall, I would say that I like the rocks. The macro rocks is really nice. They are pretty lightweight. They feel like the Bucani, but then they're actually a lot cleaner and nicer than Bucani rocks, which kind of really nice. And how they're actually being cut this way, right, you can actually get nice scapes like this done up within, like, I think I finished this scape within half a day. So I kind of really like it a lot. A couple of changes here and there, but overall I really like it a lot, and everything is secured with coral glue. So it's pretty nice, pretty sturdy. I hope so. So the next time you guys will see this tank, right, it's going to be filled with corals and the team will be in by then. Alright, so we have come to the end of today's video on the Red Sea Reefer Nano scape. So overall, I would say that if you guys have a small nano tank, right, be it a 1 feet, 2 feet, or even a 3 feet, right, do consider the stacked rocks because for a box that size, right, it's actually quite a lot of rocks though. So it's actually pretty worth the money to get these stacked rocks, and it's really easy to scape, especially if you want to have a lot of platforms to put in frags, like especially all of you reefers out there who love to collect a lot of frags, right? This rock is actually really nice. You can do a lot of different types of platform. It's really good for you to put frags. SPS lovers, you will love this as well because you can actually do really nice bonsai scape out of this, which the tank is too small, so I can't really see why I want to do a bonsai for this tank. So overall, I really like it a lot. So I'll just end this video here today by saying a big thanks to them, to Two Little Fishes for the stack rocks. It's really a very good product. Do give it a try. Next time you guys seeing the Red Sea Nano, right, it will be filled with something. I'm not going to tell you guys what will it be filled in yet. This is for you guys to guess, and like I mentioned before, right, the first person in the comment section down below who actually got this correct, right, you will be getting something special from me. So let's end the video here. If you like all the videos that we put out for you, hit that subscribe button, like, share it out, and I'll see you guys soon next week.